So, Sonic Frontiers. Well, this is a game I never expected to come back to. I wouldn't exactly call this a bad game. It was actually pretty good for Sonic standards, but comparing it to games as a whole, it's still not that bad. It's got a couple of kinks that should be ironed out first, but other than that, it's a pretty solid experience. However, the one thing that ruined the experience overall was this final boss. On paper, it's not that bad, but in practice, what the hell were they thinking? It was challenging, yes, but it wasn't a Sonic Frontiers boss. It was a boss from Galaga. However, thanks to the success of the game, SEGA was able to release 3 updates. Now, 2 out of the 3 updates weren't really that big of a deal. Just a couple of time attack challenges and a skin swap for the island, which actually made the challenges a lot easier to get, at least in my opinion. But the 3rd update, now that is why this is a DLC review. Not only does it replace the final boss if you take this path, but it takes a new alternate story and some new playable characters you can play as. And fans really loved this story. In fact, they said it was better than the original. Unless you're me. Now, what do I have to say about this DLC that hasn't been said before? Well, I'm Mr. Galaxy the Galaxy Cat, and today we're gonna find out. Members of Team Shadow, video game enthusiasts both old and new alike who want to see this game is worth their collection or not. Let's get started! As mentioned in the intro, the new story takes an alternate path, which diverts from the moment after Sonic is cured from his cyber corruption. So the story goes as follows. Shortly after being cured, Sage brings up a point that maybe Sonic can use that corruption for power. Running out of options, Sonic agrees, and undo everything that Amy, Knuckles, and Tails did to save his ass. So that plot point was even more pointless than in the main story! Team Sonic and Team Eggman agree to form a plan to search for the Chaos Emeralds, while Sonic goes to convert this corruption into brand new power. So after climbing the towers and learning from the Titan pilots, he eventually turns this corruption into a brand new power. However, time is running out, and as the end slowly approaches, Sonic gets the Chaos Emeralds from his friends, and Dr. Eggman, being late as ever, and transforms into Super Sonic. Everything's pretty much the same, that is, until the end approaches. In the original story, Sage pilots Supreme, going up into space and fighting the giant monster before it could ever reach Earth. But now, the end arrives and this thing is f***ing massive! But apparently, size isn't everything. As it reunites with itself once more, it decides that the giant hunk of rock isn't going to be its true form anymore, but instead, the prison that it was trapped in. It mutates Supreme to be the end. And I was really hoping they would go all out with this. I love mutated monsters when a monster fuses with another monster. And all they gave us was just arms coming out of his ass. Come on, SEGA! All hope seems lost, as Super Sonic can't even damage the end. But that's where this new power comes in, and Sonic transforms into Super Sonic 2! And not gonna lie, he's cool as shit! So after defeating the end and taking his gun away, Eggman loads up the cannon, Sonic becomes the bullet, and decides to go all out after all. Because one thing I forgot to tell you is that this power is temporary, for if Sonic goes all out, he'll lose it forever. But seeing that the Earth is in danger, he becomes Cyber Super Sonic, and the story ends with Sonic killing the end and crash landing back to Earth. While the ending is pretty much the same, except Eggman and Sage finally get to go home together. So overall, I really liked the story, but I didn't enjoy it. First off, it made the sacrifice that Sonic friends did absolutely pointless. In the main game, it was used to cure Sonic's corruption, and we didn't see them until the end of the game, making it have slight weight. Sure, it came out of nowhere, but it was better than nothing. But here, it made that entire scene completely pointless. Another thing that you guys are gonna hate me on is I like the original ending. God, no, not the final boss! I'm talking about when Sage sacrifices herself. It really felt like her character arc was completed, that she's willing to save the Earth for Dr. Eggman, and that tease at the end where Sage could return in future games, that's all he really needed. It was perfect! The promotion for the final update made us think that Sage is going to play a bigger part in the story. And you wanna know what she does in the entire story? reverses the cyber corruption. The Master Coco tells her to f**k off. She makes a giant shield to protect Dr. Eggman. And that's it! I felt that Sage had more weight to her character in the original story, while here she's just, well, here. We don't even get to play as her or even see a cutscene where Eggman and Sage are just talking while searching for the last Chaos Emerald. She's just here, I guess. I don't know, I guess I'm a fan of the bittersweet ending of the original, but overall, the story was still fun, which is why I'm gonna give it a C rank. Content's up next, and I'm going to be including all the stuff from DLC 1, 2, and 3, because they were sold after the game was released. First off, added in Update 1 was a jukebox, photo mode, and some challenges. Throughout the island, you can find some orange musical notes, and if you can collect them, you get a free music. Themes can range from many different types of music from all across the Sonic games. Strangely enough, none in Sonic Frontiers. I mean, yeah, you do get the island themes, but you don't even get any of the boss themes, which would have been perfect, because I love... Yeah, that thing. Still f*** you, Wyvern. A lot of them are pretty easy to find, but some of them were just hard to locate, mainly due to the level's physics. But overall, you have a good time collecting them. After that, we have a photo mode. I never used the photo mode, but the real meat and potatoes are the update challenge modes, and the same applies to the bosses as well in a fun boss rush mode. I played these modes off screen, and it was a very fun time. It's surprisingly challenging though to get an S rank, and I love that. My only complaint though is that some of the bosses from Islands 1 and 2 are gonna get absolutely destroyed if you're maxed out Sonic. Perfect for a time attack challenge, so I really don't mind, but you know, maybe for those who want a challenge, they could probably have an option where they could turn off all of their EXP and maybe fight them all as level 1, but I'm just nitpicking here. These challenges are fun. As for Update 2, they add the best thing ever! Brand new Coco! Yeah! I think they're referring to the Coco all around the island, where if you collect enough, you get a boost in your speed boost. But honestly, you really don't need that when you could just make an infinity symbol and just get unlimited speed. But I'd be lying to say if this wasn't a useful power-up. You should look out for these Cocos, because oh, it's so great for the time attack challenges. Which brings us to our next point, the open zone challenges. Basically, if you do anything, collect these balls, increase the multiplier, grind on rails, beat up enemies, you'll get some points, but why the hell would you want to do these? At face value, these seem pretty pointless, but then you realize that there's a reward at the end. The Spin Dash! Sonic's most iconic move returns for Sonic Frontiers, and it absolutely breaks the game, and I love it! It's absolutely busted in some of the cyberspace levels, but I wouldn't abuse it all the time. A lot of these levels were not designed with these in mind, so most of the time you'll probably fall off into the end of the map if you go over something, but I'm sorry. I'm going to go off script a bit, but this thing is absolutely fun. I have way too much fun just going off the map. Is I don't know how else to explain it. The Spin Dash is fun, both practicality and just for bullshit reasons. As for the main event in Update 2, Sonic's birthday covers the island in party-themed decoration, and quite honestly, this is the most useful update I've ever seen in a while. At face value, this seems kind of pointless, but trust me, if you're trying to 100% the islands, you're gonna want to use these. Trust me! The Coco and some of the platforms were a lot easier to identify, because I spent hours looking for these challenges only to keep missing them, or missing spots where I can't find the friendship tokens, or I see the friendship token somewhere, and then I try to look for the platform, and next thing you know, I'm at the other side of the island. With this new update, however, oh, it is so much easier. They all have a bright color, ranging from blue, pink, red, or even yellow, and it's just so easier to spot in the air than just dirty brown. What else can I say? A useless feature at first, turned pretty useful in the end. And finally, we have Update 3, where you get to play as Amy, Knuckles, and Tails. Psych! Okay, I like the fact that you get to play as them, but they're kinda pointless. Don't get me wrong, I understand it's been used since we got to play as any of these characters. Not counting Sonic Mania, I think the last time we really got to play as it was Sonic 06. But if you ask me how I think they feel, Amy feels like a Sonic clone with a hammer and can fly. Knuckles, well, he's just fully erect. And Tails is kind of the weakest one. He doesn't have a homing attacks, but he makes up for it. Ladies and gentlemen with emerald infantry, do you want to fly as Tails? Well, now you can fly as Tails. Platform challenges be damn, just fly over them. You gotta go to the outside of the island or fuck running, just fly! I thought Tails was the weakest because he didn't have a homing attack, but this motherfucker is busted beyond bolts because he brought his toy plane. Who's the genius who let this slide? And was it a good idea? Because I think so. I like breaking the game. There's also a few new cyberspace levels added, but I hardly got to go into them. Because the main meat and potatoes you want to be looking for, aside from the Chaos Emeralds as your friends, are these towers. These towers. These... I hate these towers so goddamn much. Someone at SEGA must really love Screwball because these challenges are the definition of pain. Never, and I mean never, in my many recordings on this YouTube channel have I ever dropped the F-bomb in multiple rows than this one. I'm not even joking, half the footage is just me dropping the bomb over and over and over again. And why is that important for me to tell you? Because you need to do precise platforming on these challenges. And let me tell you, this game was not designed with precise platforming in mind. Let me tell you a little secret. You are going to fall. No matter how high you get, you're only going to fall. With enough trial and error, you can get past Hell in a Shell, or Hell on Discs, or Digital Hell, whatever you prefer to download your video games. You'll eventually meet the pilots of the Titans you've slain. After clearing some quick and challenging trials, just keep losing over and over again until you get on easy mode. You will not regret it! You eventually have the ability to transform to Super Sonic 2 in the final boss, and... well, like I said, he's cool as shit. In the second to last trial, you have to do a boss rush, and you have to practice doing a frame-perfect don't even try it! Just do what I said last time! You'll thank me later! Those bosses were not designed with a frame-perfect parry in mind, but the end? Well, the frame-perfect parry actually works, and like I mentioned, Super Sonic 2 is cool as shit! And of course, you get the new final boss, the End Incarnated. And what are my thoughts on the brand new final boss that everyone loves and says is better than the original? It's fine. It's not hard, but it's fine. It does the job well. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's challenging and I actually lost a few times, but it mainly tries to stall you more than the other bosses do. Which, to be fair, you can't really take damage except for this part right here, so I get it. So, if we're working on the logic of that, yeah, it's fun and challenging. But is it better than the original? Yes, by a long shot! Were you paying attention? And that's it in terms of content, not counting the music. And I just gotta say, individually, if I were to give these updates a ranking, update 1, I'll have to give it a B rank because the boss rush mode carries it heavily. Update 2, I'm gonna have to give it a C rank. And as for the final update, I'll give that one a B rank. If we combine them all together, I would give all three of these updates a grand total of an A rank. Individually, these are fine, but altogether, it's a grand surprise. SEGA really didn't have to give these updates out for free, and yet they did. And that shows a lot of the confidence they had in this game. Finally, we come to the thing that accompanies all video games, the music. The bops! The things you listen to as you question why the hell you're collecting these black cocoa. Well, they're actually for the towers, but you get so much black cocoa near the beginning, assuming that you're farming them, that they kind of really are pointless. I don't know why people are confused what these are for. These are obviously for the child. Did you guys not see the cutscene? Did you guys skip the cutscene or something? Insane ramblings aside, Amy, Tails, and Knuckles has their own music that they have that plays in the overworld. Maybe if you trust your colors, there could be another future waiting for you. Blood flow. There's no time to take it slow. Let the blood inside you flow. Find the way to the unknown. And another passage. If you really want it, go and face the challenge. Fly to new horizons. Find another passage. We also have more cyberspace levels, which means more cyberspace themes, and I'm sorry, they still sound like a standby sound for Kamen Rider Geats. But one of the most memorable music, at least in my opinion, has to be the trial theme. Then again, I am a fan of some Japanese-inspired music, but hey, at least you got something to listen to as soon as you're done with the f***ing towers! And of course, it would be an absolute crime if the best music of the game wasn't the brand new rendition of I'm Here! Holy swells, oh my swells, it is so freaking good! I never liked the original I'm Here, that's why it was more lower on my list, but this one, it might compete with Breakthrough at all, just a tad. Maybe Fighting with Giganto's theme, definitely, but it's so good, just listen to it. You have to hear it without me speaking over the music! But of course, one epic theme doesn't define an entire soundtrack. Does the music match its environment it's in? Is the intention of the music fitting? And is it memorable outside of the game when you close your console? These are things that I always think about when it comes to music, because I don't pull any punches when it comes to my gradings. And the music for Sonic Frontiers, I'm sorry guys, I am going to begrudgingly give it a B rank. Not gonna lie, this was very close to getting a C rank, but after thinking about it for a while, the new final boss theme absolutely carries the soundtrack, with everything else being fine. I don't exactly vibe with Sonic Frontiers music, but these tracks are still pretty freaking good. Just not up to snuff with what I've heard from other Sonic games. Sonic Heroes, Shadow the Hedgehog, Sonic 06. Yeah, I said it. It's just that as a non-Sonic fan who's looked into the Sonic franchise for a while now, I know what the standards are for Sonic when it comes to music, and while this is still top tier music when it comes to the final boss theme, the rest of the game's music just feels like it's just there. It doesn't really feel like Sonic in my opinion. But hey, that's okay. Sonic Frontiers is going for a more serious vibe, and I can vibe with that. And at the end of the day, this one soundtrack doesn't define an entire franchise. It just defines the one game in said franchise. So it doesn't really ruin my experience overall when it comes to listening to other Sonic musics, or even other music in this game. Sorry, I went out on a little tangent. Confusing, because music is usually the shortest parts of my reviews. But I just wanted to throw that out here to let you guys know that I'm not just thinking about the music, be like, oh, this is good, this is bad, this is good, this is bad. There's actually some thought process that goes into the music and how I compare it to the franchise as a whole. But if I keep talking, we're going to be here forever. So let's move on to the final ranking. Despite the fact that the free updates brought more to the table, and even fixed some of Sonic Frontiers' problems, it's still a B rank? I had very high expectations for these free updates, and did they meet my expectations? Yes and no. In terms of challenge, it's so freaking annoying! But I still look fondly on it, even though it made me want to die. But I guess I just had too much pressure put on the new final boss, considering that it was meant to replace the old final boss because fans outright hated the final boss of the original game, and rightfully so. And although I never got to play as Amy, Tails, and Knuckles for very long in my Let's Play, off-screen, I got to play as them for a decent while, and they're still pretty fun to control. Plus, the new cyberspace levels have some interesting gimmicks inside of them, and actually work with the spin dash. Most of the time. But even after saying all of that, it's still Sonic Frontiers. It's still a pretty good Sonic game. Not the best Sonic game, but still fantastic. And with these free updates, it's now worth the $60 price tag in my opinion. Because if you ask me, before these updates, I would probably say it would be worth like 20 bucks. Nah, that's stupid. I would have said it was worth for like 35 or 40 bucks. But now that these free updates are out, yeah, the $60 price tag seems warranted now. In fact, despite the grains being the same, I can safely say that these new updates bring Sonic Frontier as a whole from a B rank all the way to an A rank. So take the W, Sonic, and hope that it brings you to another end goal in Shadow the Hedgehog 2. At the time of this recording, we have not gotten the game yet. I probably streamed it, maybe done a few Let's Play videos, but I have not done a review on it yet because it's not out. I'm recording this in September, so it's like a month away. But the thing that still boggles my mind is the fact that all of these things were sold for free. In an age where content like this is locked behind a paywall, this really shows how confident SEGA was in their product. Sonic Frontiers, while it was rocky at first, was still a massive hit. And even with these hellish towers, I can still say that with the DLC added on, Sonic Frontiers is one of the best Sonic games of all time. I'm Miss Galaxy Cat, and this has been a review of Sonic Frontiers, The Final Horizon. Do you agree with my opinions or do you disagree with my opinions? Let me know in the comments down below. But until then, peace out, members of Team Shadow. Please remember to stay catty, live life your own way, stay safe through these trying times. I'll see you all in the castle. Until next time, adieu everybody.